have a nice night. I hope you did. What is up, guys? Welcome to another reaction by Young Reactor Fair. Today I'm going to be reacting to Young Don the Sauce God animated story. I was terrified. That's all. That's all. Not even a backstory to it. Maybe since he's black, he was in the hood. Maybe. Wait, monetize. Can't do that. Can't do that. But if y'all like this video, please push that like button down below because it really helps me out. Subscribe if you're new, and let's get into this video.
But you have to realize that as a black guy, that's my equivalent of dropping your average white guy in the middle of the hood at night. Like, I would have been so much more comfortable being in a 2-bedroom apartment in a ghetto somewhere with grills on the windows and gunshots and police sirens going off in the distance. In a weird way, I would have felt safer. Today's video is sponsored by the mobile app War Robots. So what exactly is War Robots, alright? It's a 6v6 strategic multiplayer game. You get to choose a robot that best matches your style of gameplay. Now, this is a strategy game, but I don't really f*** with strategy. I just go in guns a-blazing. It's also why I die a lot, but it's more fun that way. The game itself is, of course, coming at you with an A1 saucy graphic. Over 70 million people are already playing this game, and it is constantly being updated with new robots, mods, and that. Now, here's what's really important, okay? Use my link down below to install the game, and when you do, you will not only be supporting me and helping to fund my channel, wink wink, but you will also receive an exclusive starter pack with 1 Leo robot, 1 Kang weapon, 3 mullet weapons, 100 gold, and 400,000 silver. So use the link down below and download War Robots today. It just might be your new favorite mobile game. As a lot of you may know from another video, I was hooked on it for quite a while. So, I'm 23 years old, and I've been through a lot, okay? I've been held up at knife point, I've been held up at gunpoint, I've been hospitalized for serious heart complications, and more terrifying than all of those, I dropped out of college to try and be a YouTuber while having Jamaican parents. My point is, not a lot of things scare me at this point in my life. And I'm not trying to seem like I'm this big tough guy who doesn't get scared. Everyone has fears, but I'm just saying that my life experiences have definitely worked out a lot of my inner little bitch. However, fairly recently, I had an experience that, for lack of better words, had me shook. This story takes place a little less than a year ago while I was still living in California. I had just quit my day job at the deli, and I was babysitting these 2 special needs kids for this pretty rich guy who we'll call David, that my boy Will had acquainted me with. Now, David owned several small businesses and was always very busy, and his 2 sons were very much afflicted with their special needs conditions, so they pretty much needed around-the-clock supervision. Like, they could not be left at home alone for a second, even though they were both technically teenagers. And to be honest, best job I've ever had. Outside of being a YouTuber, of course, if you can even call this a job. For one, I was getting paid like $20 an hour to pretty much watch TV and play video games with children. Like, I can't even call it work. I'd occasionally have to wrestle one to go take a bath because, again, he was like a little kid trapped inside a teenager's body. And like most little kids, these did not like to go bathe. Like, I don't know what it is, but little kids just don't like taking baths. 2, David lived in a mansion in the hills. So that was cool. It was a beautiful, massive house on this huge piece of land surrounded by lush green forestry. It was tucked away far from the city, and the nearest neighbor's house was pretty far from David's house, so you had the ultimate sense of privacy. Needless to say, I was basically getting paid like $800 a week to chill in luxury for 4 months. Very nice. So I usually work from 8 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon. But one day, as time was approaching the end of my shift, David texted me saying that the babysitter who was supposed to be coming to take over after I left called in sick, and he wanted to know if I would be willing to stay until 10 p.m. that day. And it wasn't really that hard to convince me to stay, because again, it was just like chilling at home, but instead I was making money. So I settled back in and I continued to watch The Boys, and everything was going fine, business as usual. That was until the sun started to go down. You see, I had never had to babysit the boys during the nighttime, but I figured it wasn't going to be any different from babysitting them during the day. Well, nope, I was wrong. That shit was scary as Let me tell you why. You remember all those things that I said made David's house seem pretty dope? How big it was, how far away it was from the rest of civilization, how it was just surrounded by lush, dense forestry?
Friday the
Well,
13th?
turns out all of those things plus no light outside is a perfect recipe for a fucking nightmare. If you have never been alone in a huge old house in the middle of nowhere by yourself at night, don't. It's scary. I'm serious. It's scary as fuck, nigga. It's not fun. So I'm upstairs with the boys, and it is pitch black outside. Like, you don't realize that there are no street lights in sight for miles until it's nighttime. So I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, that's kind of creepy, but whatever. I'm not a bitch. So I pull out my phone and I try not to think about it. An hour or so passes and the boys go to bed. So now I am very much by myself. And I had like 2 hours before David was gonna get home. So I turn on the TV and I start to watch Netflix to pass the time. And as I'm watching TV, I hear something rattling around outside. And instantly I'm like, what the fuck is that? I go to the window to see if I can see what was making the noise, but I can't see anything. It's just that dark. So I sit back down and I start to talk to myself. I'm like, all right, Don, don't be a p***y. It's probably just a raccoon or something. You have nothing to worry about. So I'm sitting there trying to chill out, and then there was a noise again, but this time it was way louder. So I jump up and run to the window, but of course, I still can't see shit, nigga, like it's dark. So now I'm genuinely scared because I had just watched Get Out, and a part of me low-key for a second considered the idea that maybe it was possible that some of the rich old people who lived around David's neck of the woods got wind that a couple black guys have been babysitting for him, and maybe, just maybe, they were gonna get together, break into the house, and take me out. Listen, I know it sounds ridiculous and f***ed up, but you have to realize that as a black guy, that's my equivalent of dropping your average white guy in the middle of the hood at night. Like, I would have been so much more comfortable being in a 2-bedroom apartment in a ghetto somewhere with grills on the windows and gunshots and police sirens going off in the distance. In a weird way, I would have felt safer. So I turn off all the lights upstairs because I went into survival mode. Like I was trying to even out the playing field because the lights gave away my location and I didn't want to make it easy for the murderers to find me. So I'm sitting there in the dark and then I hear something fall over outside, which 100% convinced me that there was someone outside lurking around in the darkness who was gonna come inside, kill me, and then sell my liver on the black market. So I called 911, dead ass. I called the police. For the first time in my life, I called the cops. I needed help. I was scared. So I called the police, and in my best white guy voice, I tell them what's going on. And the lady on the phone is like, so, do you want me to send a police officer? And I was like, yeah. I mean, I guess it's not that necessary. I'm sure you guys are busy dealing with more important things, but if you have someone patrolling in the area, I wouldn't mind if they just so happen to swing over here, you know what I'm saying? And as I'm talking to her, I hear a loud slam, and I was positive that it was from just outside the house, like on the property, but there was no one else here. David still hadn't gone back, and there was no way that was a fucking raccoon. Unless these raccoons are out here in the gym benching 45s, there was no way that was a raccoon. That was a large metal object hitting another large metal object. I was going to die. So I was like, yes, please, send someone right away. Send someone now. Hurry, they're coming for me. I need people with guns right now. So I give her the address, and then she tells me that she'll arrange to have a cop come by, and that I should just make sure all the windows and doors are locked and just to hang tight. So I get off the phone and I start to think, what am I gonna do if someone really breaks into the house? Like, I'm not armed. And for like half a second, I was like, I should just leave. I should just climb down the balcony right now and sprint to my car and just never come back. And I know it's fucked up because I'd be leaving the boys behind. But I figured that if this was like a get out situation, then they're only after me anyway. And if this was like a typical break-in, once the robber sees that the boys are special needs, he'll probably just leave them alone. Plus, they were asleep, so I was like, fuck it, I'm out, I'm gone, nigga, I'm gone. Because $20 an hour is great pay for babysitting, but definitely not worth getting murdered over. But I stay, and I just sit there in dead silence in the dark, waiting for either the cop, David, or the murderer to show up. Not long after, I hear a car pull up. It was David. He comes inside, and of course, I act like everything was fine. Like, he comes inside, pays me my money, and basically says I can bail. And right as I'm leaving, he turns to me and says, so it looks like the guy came and picked up the boat today. And then I was like, what? And then he was like, my boat, remember? This morning, I told you that I sold my boat. The one that was parked around the side of the house. It's gone now, so I guess the guy must have come and picked it up. Oh.
That's what all that slander
Yeah.
was? I thought it was the boys.
The boat. I forgot about that. Now it all made sense. All those noises I was hearing must have been the guy hooking up the trailer the boat was on to his truck. So there weren't any Illuminati devil worshippers trying to kill me and sell my liver on the black market after all. That said, I still walked to my car really fast, and I also I never called that the police. Moral of the story. I don't really have one, gonna be honest with you. So instead, I'm just gonna tell you to go download War Robots because it's a dope app and I want them to keep sponsoring me so I...
Well, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I hope you liked it. Subscribe if you're new, and push that like button down below. Comment below. Okay, let me restart that. Hit that like button down below because it really helps me out. Subscribe if you're new, and comment below what you liked about the video. And comment below if you've ever been in a creepy situation. I really like to read them. And until next time,